Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SeoSamba. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSamba.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today we have with us Richard Decker with AWATfit. Welcome, Richard.
Thanks, Lee. How you doing?
I am doing great. Before we get too far into things, tell us what you're up to. How are you serving folks?
All right. So what we did is about a year and a half pre-COVID, I converted a truck into a mobile fitness facility. And AWATfit basically stands for all weather, all terrain. The truck has over 20 workout stations, and it kind of, drives down the road as a regular vehicle. And then when we get to site, whether it's a private event, somebody's home, parks, tennis facilities, beaches, we convert the area into a gym with over 25 workout stations coming off the truck.
Now, were you a personal trainer? Is that your background?
Yeah, I have about 30 years in the fitness industry. I built a handful of brick and mortar style facilities, anywhere from 4,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet, the full box gyms to the private boutique fitness facilities. And in September of 18, I was also in the restaurant business. I owned a few of those. We decided to step away from the brick and mortar concept and work more outside of your conventional, brick and mortar box gym type atmosphere, as it was just getting too stale.
And then, so you decided to just do this strictly mobile? That's your business now?
Correct. We're mobile. We're nationwide. We started, I would say franchise sales, we started somewhere in the June of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. We have 4 trucks on the roll now in New York, Texas, Westchester, and we're heading to Florida as we speak. Now,
what does a good ideal franchisee look like for you guys?
Pre-COVID, I designed it for specifically trainers, right, who needed a low-cost entry to get into business for themselves without the overhead of your brick and mortar landlords, municipalities, and utilities, so they could really have a high net business. Since COVID, we've now expanded to not only trainers, gym owners, restaurant managers, a lot of the industries that have been disrupted by COVID and not going to go back to be operational as it was pre-COVID. So there's a lot more opportunity outside of that. Some businesses are really going to grow and there's going to be adjustments. So primarily, firefighters, police enforcement, people at part-time, because you don't need to work the truck full-time to make a significant income, or you could be that dedicated, person who wants to work, full-time and make more than significant.
Now, is there a kind of a certified AWATfit methodology around how to use and maximize the equipment and the exercises?
Yeah, so what we do is everybody, you look at the franchise industry and it's very cookie cutter, right? Whatever franchise you get involved with, you have to operate in this fashion. With AWAT, I call it AWAT Fran Ownership. So we give 4 choreographed programs designed specifically to different equipment and different style workouts. But what we do is just this type of equipment needs to be incorporated, say like in our Thunderstruck, which is like a HIIT class, a high intensity workout. We allow the trainer to say, well, I'm going to use that equipment, but I'm going to use it this way, because every trainer has their own methodology. We want them to express their passion for fitness and not be, pigeonholed into something that we say has to be done.
So it's not like a CrossFit where there's a CrossFit way of doing things.
Yeah, it's more, there's a way of doing things, but I want the trainers to become owner responsible and express their passion, because even when you go to CrossFit, you pick certain instructors because you like their style, their methodology of teaching. So we'll have the consistency across the board nationwide of the style of classes, but at the same token, I'm going to train somebody different than, say, my other trainer, RJ or Tatiana. We bring our own personalities to it. So the people get the feel of the HIIT class, but they get to experience a different style with each trainer.
And now, when these workouts are happening, are they going to a location and then a bunch of people gather around there? Like you said, there's 25 stations, so I guess 25 people or 50 people could be participating in some manner in a group class?
Primarily, we go 20 to 25 people when we do the groups because we still need to respect social distancing. The truck is 20 feet by 7 feet, and the different lengths of the equipment really separate everybody nicely. So we don't want to overcrowd the class. The versatility of it is, yes, you could come to a fixed location and/or we could be brought into your location. So especially during COVID, people were not comfortable working out with strangers that they didn't know, but they had their cool group of 10 or 15 friends. So we go right to their homes, or they meet us at a beach parking lot, a local park. That's the beautiful thing about it. Wherever we go, we turn it into a gym.
And then, so since it's outside, so that makes it seasonal. So in some parts of the country, they won't be able to do it in the winter, or there's a way to adapt for that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we started, like I said, September 18, January 19, the first truck was rolling. We went straight through the winter, 12-degree weather, because, the heat comes from inside our body. So as long as you dress appropriately and protect yourself from the elements, your gloves, your hat, a nice wickie shirt to keep the sweat off you. It's just kind of like snow skiing. As soon as within 10, 15 minutes of working out, your core heat is cranked up. You're feeling comfortable. The only time I've had people not and be in favor of working out is on a rainy winter day. Snow days, they loved it. They were like kids playing in snow. Rainy summer days, it's like being outside, beautiful, it's fun. It kind of brings the youth out in them. And then in the other markets where you have the opposite, right? You have the Arizona market and the Texas market where you have 2 or 3 months in the summer where it's unbearable heat. Those trucks have optional awnings and water misters. So during the workout, about halfway through the workout, you'll be in shade and have water misters. So we kind of keep the elements away from you.
Now, how many sessions can a franchisee expect to be able to execute in a day?
Well, that depends on the franchisee. I mean, I run my truck pretty much right now. It's in fall. I had to come off the road to have this interview with you, but I started this morning at 6 a.m. and I'm going to 6 o'clock. So I'll have probably 10 sessions today. Mixed in there will be some privates. Some people just want to do one-on-ones, which is really cool with the truck. And then there'll be some group classes. So you could have, it's up to that actual franchisee on how aggressively he wants to pursue the market and work. I had to put 2 trucks in my local area because the one truck was too busy and there's so many hours in the day. So I have 3 trainers working the other truck. I work my truck with another trainer. So there's 5 of us, and we're busy from dawn till dusk.
And then, like, how long? So you said you start at 6, so then you get to wherever you're going by 6. How long does the class last? And then how long does it take you to kind of put everything away and then move to the next location?
Well, that's the cool thing about the truck. It's 2.5 minutes without rushing to set up the entire vehicle, and 2.5 minutes to break it down. So we give a 15-minute breather in between, and we try to geographically map it out, so we could hit other classes. So it's 45-minute sessions, and we're pretty much packed up as soon as the session's done, because as you get through the equipment, we could put it away and if we know it's not going to be used for the next round of exercises. And then you're in the truck and you roll. And it's really cool because I was in the brick and mortar 30 years. When you had a 12-hour day of 12 clients coming in 6 to 6 and you do 12 one-on-ones, some group mixed in, it's very monotonous. You're in the same brick and mortar. You're in the same facility all day. This, you have that 15-minute break on every hour, driving to another job. So you could, relax, have a cup of coffee, catch up on a phone call to the home if you need to. There's certain things about having that 15-minute breather in an 8 to 10-hour day. It gives you an hour and a half, 2 hours of your own time.
Now, when you came up with the concept, were you thinking franchise all the way? Was it built to be franchised?
When I first came up with the concept, it was for me. Okay, I said, let me design this. My people still wanted to train with me, but I didn't want to deal with staffing and brick and mortar and landlords any longer. I'm 56 years old. I decided it's time for kind of like almost semi-retirement, so to speak. The truck did so well in the first year, and it was so easy. I've never worked less amount of hours and grossed or netted such a return on my investment. It was a 90% return because I didn't have the major bills that come along with your brick and mortar, landlords, municipalities, utilities, and marketing, because the truck is a rolling billboard. And when I saw what it cost me to get in the truck and I paid for all the prototyping, I said, I could easily make this a franchise model. And that's when we began the franchise model. We started that process October 19. So by Jan 20, the first franchise trucks were rolling.
So now how'd you go about kind of all the logistics and all the administrative headaches that come with franchising? Did you have help or you did it yourself?
No, I hired Intercola law firm. They did all the filing in all the states because it's very, being a franchise is not just like, hey, I want to let somebody use my business. You have to file FDDs in every state. You got to file with the federal government. You have to stick to the terms in the FDD. You have to refile it every 12 months. I have the law firm handling that. I have a group called 1851 Franchise, no limit agency, doing all my marketing and PR specifically for the franchise world. I have another group called Upswell that does customer acquisition for the consumer side of the franchise truck. So we make sure these franchises stay busy and keep a good brand. And then, that's it, those three. Right?
So how'd you find out about them? Like, how'd you kind of educate yourself about how to do this?
Well, I started looking to do it myself because everybody wants to, let's see if I've 30 years of brick and mortar business, own probably 6 health clubs, 6 or 7 restaurants. So I'm pretty business savvy. So when I went into researching, it's not something you can do it yourself. It's definitely not something you want to do it yourself if you want to be efficient with your time and money and accuracy. Intercola law firm I found through just research, and they brought me to the marketing arms that they use because, you want to have a team that's already been communicating with each other in previous jobs so they know how they get along because there's a lot of moving parts, and the more static you could bring in, less in, the better it is for smooth operations.
Now, but the business of franchising is different than the fitness business. Right now, you're more of a training and sales organization when you're working with those folks because you got to get them successful as quickly as possible, and it's less about, one more rep.
Yeah, the really cool thing about this, like I said, I've been in business 35 years. And the one thing I like is the excitement of the deal, getting the job, getting the business, getting whatever I'm working on open, working under a deadline, working under a clock, getting the grand opening, whether it's one of my health clubs, one of my restaurants, one of my nightclubs. With this, every franchisee that comes on board, that's my opportunity to mentor them on how to get their business operational, to stay consistent with their business. I'm constantly on the phone and texting these guys, telling them how to market, telling them where to go to get business. So it's really, for what I like, and I think any successful franchisee, it goes back to the franchisor organization and how the corporate is going to support them, because that's the benefit of being a franchisee, to not have to do the startup, hard knocks, because there's a lot of money you could lose and waste in startup companies if you don't know the shortcuts and the more beneficial ways to move. Just the other day, I had a franchisee call up, thought he was very excited because a college approached him and wanted him to advertise for all their sporting programs. It was like $10,000. And I said, save your $10,000. That's something you could do when you're more established and you want to build your brand. Right now, you're building grassroots. Use that money in your local community where you want to build your reputation and your brand, and then go, because that college market is not your market, but it's exciting, right? You feel it's, these people get involved. Oh, my name's going to be all over the colleges. Everybody will know who I am. But you really have to look at your return you're going to get on every investment. So my 35 years of experience, I could kind of weed those out for them.
Now, is there different territories that are better than others? Like, does this work better in kind of a suburban area or an urban area? Or does it matter?
We're finding that out as we go along. The suburban areas, you're going to have, it's going to be easy to get to places. The urban areas and the cities, we're working with parks now to see if we get access to them. See, COVID has kind of given us like an open green playing field, where prior you were very restricted to where you could do any outdoor fitness. Now outdoor fitness is the only majority of the fitness they recommend, even with the restrictions they put on gyms. So they're working with organizations like me to open their parks now, because a lot of these parks, work on donations and fundraisers, and they can't do those any longer because of the gatherings have been cut out. So they're relying now on resources that we could bring in. But the difference is, to do a brick and mortar, I have to pay a rent regardless of how much business I do. With all these other venues we're using, the parks and the beaches and the schools, country clubs, they get a percentage of what the truck does. So if we're busy, they make more money. If we're not busy, not there, we're not obligated to the overhead.
Right. So that sounds like a win-win.
It's fair for everybody that's involved. They want to help promote us. They want to see us busy. And the beautiful thing about there's no infrastructural change to their area. We bring a truck in, we set it up, we leave. There's no construction. There's a 30-day turnaround from the time you tell me you want a franchise to when you're in business. That's the quickest turnaround in the industry because you don't have the permit process, the construction process. All you got to do, buy a truck, we rig it, we have all the molds made for the rigging, we sticker it, we logo it, we brand it, we hook you up with our POS system, and you're in business. 30 days later, you're starting to go out and work to retain your income that you've just invested. And you're looking at 6 to 11 months, depending on how aggressive you are, before you break even.
Now, when they're out in the market, you mentioned that this is kind of, you encourage grassroots kind of marketing. Is this, if you're going after trainers, I would imagine they're pretty good at this already if they've been in business for any length of time. But can you be like somebody with no fitness background and do this, or does require some fitness background?
You want to be fitness minded, but you don't have to be fitness background in the business. You want to be somebody who's a fitness minded individual who likes to work out, who's been going to a gym and a facility, and/or you can be the investor who could get the fitness minded people to run the truck for them. It could be a definitely off-hands operation, does not have to be hands-on.
So you're okay with somebody that funds it and maybe does the marketing, and then somebody else that drives the truck and does the classes?
Yeah, because the individual, whoever's going to be out, so we have 2 different types of training, right? So for each individual that comes in, they're going to get the technology training, the POS training, the how to use the truck training, and the class training. If that's one individual, because he's the person who's running the truck, fine. I'm dealing with a friend right now she's a manager in a restaurant, and she has income, and she wants to buy 2 trucks for Florida, but she is fitness minded, but does not want to be a trainer. So she's going to hire trainers to work under her. So we'll train her trainers. We'll train her the business side of it, and we'll train her trainers the physical portion of being out on the field.
Well, good stuff. Well, congratulations on all your success to be able to, take this from idea to execution and to be out into the wild and getting new franchisees. That's a big accomplishment. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. And I think, in the beginning, we looked at it was going to be something that disrupted the industry. But now, since the industry has changed due to COVID, we're kind of like the solution to the industry. So it really changed our momentum. It changed the appreciation in the communities that we're servicing. And the fact that we removed that whole landlord obligation, we have free cash flow that helps fundraise for these local charities that don't have that arm anymore with the public gatherings. And if somebody wanted to learn more about just the fitness company as a whole and/or the franchise opportunity, what is the website? So the fitness company itself for the consumer is www.awatfit.com. The franchise opportunity is www.awatfitfranchise.com. And they both lead to each other, but they sell to 2 different markets. AWATFIT. Correct. Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on all your success. Lee, I appreciate the time, and thank you so much. All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.